It's still surreal to me because, hey, I still remember everything that we did just like it was yesterday. Even though it's almost a year now, it's felt like it happened yesterday, and it also feels like I've been feeling like this for my entire life. I think I've come to peace with the fact that she's gone. And it's taken quite a while to do it, and it rips around the edges almost every day. But it's what I've got to accept. She's not here with us anymore.
Ryanne went to Dundee Crown, and she graduated in 2006, and she decided to go to Northern Illinois, I believe, mostly because of its proximity. She had a boyfriend, and I think that was actually a factor in her deciding, but she also checked it out and saw that it was a good program for psychology.
She was really into just helping people out, and she had a real tolerance for listening to problems.
Oh, she loved it. She was having the time of her life. She had a job, and she was going to school full time.
That day, one of the things that I like to do on my lunch hour, since I get the opportunity to work from my home most of the time, is to grab my camera and go over to a nature center and just hang out for an hour and take pictures. And on that day, I happened to be over at Crabtree Nature Center, just taking pictures of run-of-the-mill birds coming to the bird feeder. And I think I was there and on my way home when it all happened. I got home and I talked to my sister for a little bit on the telephone, and then my mom called and said, turn on the TV, turn on the news, something's going on at NIU. They showed some helicopter film of Cole Hall and all the people running around and the various medical technicians dealing with things. And I started trying to call the numbers at the university. They had all those hotline numbers, and it was driving me nuts because I was going between those hotline numbers and Ryan's cell phone. I remembered looking at Cole Hall thinking, she's a psych major, there's no reason for her to be over in that section. I didn't realize that she was taking that class for her Gen Ed credits. I think I probably left her about a voicemail every 2 minutes that I'm sure became acceleratedly more panicked as time went by. I called Mary Kay pretty much right after I had seen what was going on. I just said, let's get in the truck and let's go. We can call from the truck, we'll keep on calling numbers, we'll do what we can. I got a call back from the hospital up in Rockford. One of the on-duty chaplain called and asked me to describe Ryanne. And I said, I gave him the particulars on what her height and weight and what her hair looked like and stuff like that. And he said, no, the girl that we have here that has deceased is much shorter than that. As it turns out, I believe it was Gail Dabowski. But I remembered kind of going from 70 miles an hour in a 55-mile-an-hour zone to 80 or 90 miles an hour, and just, I had to get there. So we went to the hospital, we talked to him. At 7:30, one of the people from the hospital came and asked us to accompany her to the president's office to wait for more news. And my mother is a nurse that used to work in a hospital. My father was a chaplain in a hospital for a long time. They don't pull you away from the group to take you to get good news. And I remember walking down that hall thinking, I don't want to go do this. This is not where we want this to go. But I didn't say anything about it because I was afraid that if I was wrong, it would scare the hell out of Mary Kay. And I didn't want to be right. I absolutely wanted to be wrong. So I just didn't say anything. And I think we waited from 7:30 until about almost 1 o'clock in the morning before we could identify her body, partly because I'm sure they had to keep things as it was at the scene for quite a while to document everything. And I remembered thinking the whole time that we were waiting, if she's dead, we've just lost any chance of using any of her organs. We can't do any of that. And I think we identified her body right around 1 o'clock in the morning. that was probably the toughest thing I've ever had to do. We did a trip out west to take Ryan's ashes out to scatter them in Oregon on what would have been her 20th birthday. And we took 3 weeks off and drove out and drove back. And there was a spot along the way where we were out in the middle of nowhere in eastern Oregon, and a song from the Eagles came on called "Learn to Be Still." And the lyrics don't really mean this. I mean, if you read the lyrics, it's written about something else. But the phrase got to me. And I realized that, you can run at a wall all day long and keep on running into it. And you might knock it down someday, but you also might just split your head open. Maybe it's better to figure out some other way to deal with the wall. Sometimes you just have to deal with the fact that the wall's there and accept it, and not necessarily fight it all the time. I don't know that I've really come to peace with it completely, or that I ever will. But I think that's where it started, where I stopped fighting it all the time.
I gotta say, I accepted what happened, but I sure as heck don't like it, and I'm very angry. I mean, I've got a lot more anger than Eric has, because it's something that shouldn't have happened. And I'm not blaming the university. I'm thinking from the perspective of he shouldn't have had guns that he bought legally.
There's been so much focus on the guy that brought us all here, and I'd rather focus on the people that we lost. The thing that really honors Ryan's memory. She did a lot of service things through the course of her life, and I am embarrassed to say that in the less than 20 years that she had on the planet, she probably did way more than I did in the 47 that I've had.
We set up a scholarship. It's called the Ryanne Mace Memorial Scholarship, and it's for specifically for graduate students in the Department of Psychology, those who want to go ahead and get their doctorate to become a counselor, basically help those who are going to do what Ryanne wanted to do with her life.
There's a slight other motivation for me also, and that is that we can't undo what was done. And we could stand and be just heartbroken for the rest of our lives about it. But I want to do something. And the only way that I can figure to do something is to start producing the kind of people that could have helped somebody like the guy that took Ryan's life to not be in a mode where they want to take someone's life.
If it could happen to these people in that town, it can happen anywhere. And I think people should try to remember, if for no other reason, to hug their own kids that day. Whenever they get the chance, to hug your kids and say, "I love you."